Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All Beer Inside. Today we've traveled south of Montreal to Boucherville, Quebec, and joining me is Mathieu and Olivier of Gaspard Brasserie Artisanale.
Hey.
Gentlemen, Thank you very much for hosting us today. And
Thank you.
I mean, you've been open a month, so congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Very much thank you for hosting us and doing this interview today.
It's a pleasure.
I mean, I see it germinate on Instagram, December 29th, June 17th you open, Clos Saint-Jean, and now you've been open for about a month now, so things are going well?
Yeah, things are going very well. We are quite happy with sorry for the noise.
Don't worry about that, it's natural.
Yeah, so we're super happy. We've been kind of surprised by the amount of people that had interest. Of course, we were expecting that. We worked so that people were interested, but it's always a nice surprise to see how busy it is. How busy it is and how much people do come. So that's really cool.
That's awesome. So your first couple of weeks definitely met some expectations that you were hoping for?
Exceeded expectations.
That's awesome.
In the best way possible, of course.
That's great.
Yeah.
Love to hear that. So it sounds like an upward trajectory.
Yeah, well, that's the hope, right? You know, you start at point A and you always want to grow. So the good news is that we started, we think, strong, and we are quite motivated to continue to go even higher and bigger.
Okay, awesome. You brought me out some tasty looking beers here to try. Let's start with one of these here.
Yeah.
So what do I got here?
So you have the simple simp. Basically, the idea is to have a beer that is going to please the beer lover that wants something that's very, very simple, easygoing, accessible, but also to go and get the person that's not necessarily comfortable with the craft brewery world, where he thinks he's only going to get like big fruited beers or like 10% stouts. To show him, no, you can have something that's quite accessible and close to like what you're used to drinking, but with a little bit more personality.
Awesome.
So
a gateway beer for that. For the macro drinker.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome.
Totally.
As we do, gentlemen.
Yeah.
A toast.
Yeah. Toast. Cheers.
Oh, very tasty. Yeah. So there's disc golf not too far from here. I would get a bunch of cans of this and go play some disc golf with this.
Yeah, exactly. That's the objective. It's to be like all-around beer. That's kind of, I guess we're going to get into it also, but it's kind of our philosophy to having, like, we've been brewing for 9 years, but the objective is still to be like accessible and that we could go and get both roles, to find the beer lover and that's going to taste our products and say, wow, this is super, super well done. But also, the person that says, I don't like IPAs, well, try ours. Maybe you're going to like it because we're trying to create that bridge, if you will, between both.
Perfect. So, I mean, generally, what are your roles right now? Like, Mathieu, what's your role with Gaspard, and Olivier, what's yours?
So my role here is more on the brewery side. So I plan the production and everything around it. I'm also responsible for all the financial aspect and accountability.
Okay.
And Mathieu is on the marketing side and the sales side.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's the master brewer. Yeah. I'm the helper brewer. We both had always strong fields of expertise with whatever was outside of the brewery. So him in terms of production, me in terms of marketing. And in terms of brewery, he has the brains to think about the small things that I would be like, hey, Oliver, what do you think about this? So it works super well, we brainstorm on ideas and everything, and he does the scale up. And after that, when we come up with the products, I think we're both very happy with what we come up with. So it's pretty cool.
And how'd you guys meet where's the germination of Gaspard?
Actually, we met 20 years ago when we worked at Canadian Tire.
Okay.
So, and we started brewing later in our life, about 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is where we reconnected.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Found.
We were brewing like each on our sides, and we started talking about it.
Yeah.
And he came out to me one day and was like, I'm trying to make an Edward from Hill Farmstead, So I'm like, oh, okay. So
that's ambitious.
For sure. But you need to be ambitious when you start out. My first brewery was not a success, to be very honest. I wanted to make an IPA and it was red, so I was like, what's going on here?
Red IPA.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's an English IPA, So we connected on that level, started talking about it, and quite quickly, we said to each other, I think I want to open a brewery. And so it just became natural, you know, to talk about ideas, what would be our focus, how we would do things, not necessarily differently, but just because you can always want to make things differently, but that wasn't necessarily the objective, just to make it right. So, you know, what was our focus, how we wanted to do this, and it came really naturally, honestly.
I mean, to me, there's a demand in because you guys are in the Montérégie technically.
Yeah.
To me, there's not a lot of breweries in the I mean, the Montérégie is huge.
Yeah.
When you take the size of the Montérégie with how many breweries, there's not a lot.
Yeah, you're right, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I think one of the reasons is that for Longueuil and Boucherville, the rules for the urbanism rules are a little bit tougher or more complicated. So it's more difficult to open a brewery in certain area, which we found the perfect place for. But we searched a lot for the good place, for the right place.
So, you know, that's totally right. And one of the first things we said when we decided to open a brewery was we were looking on the South Shore of Montreal, because there was great opportunity, and just being both people from the South Shore, it was something that we believed that was kind of missing in terms of quantity of places where you could go and have like a good beer and a good experience, good place, a good brew pub vibe. So yeah, then after that, it was kind of a long process for many reasons, but we did find like the perfect place in terms of like what was our plan. Things work out, you know.
I mean, Boucherville is a huge area. You have a large industrial sector, and then kind of where you guys are, it feels, you know, there's this strip mall that you're in with Reno and Giant Tiger, and then this main street. Then you have Nations Sport and kind of people just living across the street. Was that the intent of having that local neighborhood pub?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally. And we have a big industrial sector area just at 5 minutes by car, and so this is a great opportunity to open during the day and get these workers to come at the brewery.
Yeah, and speaking to that, it is true that it's pretty rare at Boucherville, but other South Shore cities where you could have like people that come by foot and can go back home without taking a car.
Yeah.
And we saw that opportunity quite quickly, and we saw what was going on with this mall, if you will, where there was clearly a new life that was giving to it, and we thought that if we would be able to come in, it would really give a big boost to the place, and that's what we've been told by like people that come in. They're like, wow, this really helps the spot. So like mission accomplished, and like that's great news for us. Great news, I think, for people that live close.
Plus, you're also kid friendly. I saw there's like a kids toy set in the corner.
Yeah.
Like that's important, is that people can bring their kids and go play and have some water or some soda. And
Yeah, you have some kids?
Yes.
so
So
I have some too.
we both have kids, so we saw that opportunity to add some kids toys and just take a beer and
it's
be
rare
more
that
relaxed.
it's rare that kids are at brew pubs. So
Yeah.
Sure. So what's happening here is that kids play in that corner, and the parents can take their beers and eat if they want, and the kids are having fun. They're not even at a table, but they're just close by, so it really works super well. It's a nice surprise. We thought about it, of course, to have things for the kids, but to see literally the kids being in the corner and parents just taking their beers and having an eye on their kids is like dream come true, you know, for us at least, come as clients. And I guess for everybody that do come here, find that pretty appealing. So yeah.
I mean, speaking of that, the creation of the indoor beer garden, I don't think I've seen anything like that, at least in my travels to Quebec. What made you put that there?
The high ceiling and the windows.
Okay.
There's so much light here, so we just wanted to make something that is like, it looks like you're outside, so why not do it? And we wanted something cozy with the lights, so at the evening when it's darker, so it's more cozy, you don't see outside. So we made different area in the pub. So
I guess that's what happens when you take 6 years and a half to think about your project.
Yeah.
You get a lot of time to think about it, and it was kind of natural. We've been thinking about it for quite some time, and when we found this space, we knew we wanted to have that kind of vibe, so it became totally natural. And best news for me at least is that he's really good to build things. So it was a lot easier for me and for us. Like he was like, yeah, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, fine. So it does help when you have people that are able to build things quickly, and we're super happy with the result.
Yeah.
Of course, it's going to continue to grow, literally. So on the wall, as you can see, all the plants and vegetation is made to be growing and going up. So eventually it's going to go on the pergola, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to continue being better and better, I think.
Very cool. Yeah. I guess maybe grow some indoor hops and.
There is some hops there.
Yes.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, we're trying to work on them so that.
And a lot less mosquitoes in there.
Sure.
Than out there,
Yeah, and bees, like we say, we have like the beer garden, but we have like we have the cold air also, so easier.
Gaspard is a pretty unique name. If I look, the origin is the French origin is the word treasurer. Is that like the same thing, or why Gaspard?
So basically, we had the idea of Boucherville.
Okay.
And the founder of Boucherville is called Pierre Boucher, and his father is called Gaspard Boucher.
Okay.
The reason why Gaspard stuck, there's even more reasons. So before setting in Boucherville, we also had a opportunity in another city where we were presented a house which was called Gaspard Ruet.
Okay.
And we already had the idea of Gaspard. Like it seemed that everything was bringing us there. It wasn't our first name, but when we found it, we loved it because it's simple. We don't think we're the brewery that's going to be we're not the most funky brewery. We want to have something that's well done. People can appreciate it and say like in that style, it's really, really well made. And Gaspard talked to us because of the simplicity of the name. It felt like it represented really well what we wanted to do with the brewery.
Yeah, it's an incredibly old school common French name from what I've seen. So
Sure.
When I was looking up, I'm like, what does Gaspard mean? It's like treasurer from French origin. It's the same thing. My last name's Carpenter. I literally come from probably a line of carpenters.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. So.
Sure.
Amazing. What's beer number 2 I got here?
So you have the Pale Ale.
Okay.
So we wanted to make a quite different Pale Ale, a summer Pale Ale with a small funky side, a little bit acidic.
Okay.
And the objective is to have something that's once again super easygoing that you could like drink outside when it's hot, have a subtle fruity notes also to it. So yeah, it's 4.8% and it's made to be a thirst quencher beer. Trying to make it just a little bit different, from the typical Pale Ale also.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, cheers again.
Cheers.
I'm kind of jealous because I have the same beer, I should.
You do get to pretty much almost have them whenever you want,
Yeah.
as long as you're not working. So
Exactly. Well, it depends.
working, not working type thing. Yeah. Enjoy a pint, not enjoy 12, and be like, oh.
Exactly. For sure.
Well, yeah, nice, light, crushable, with like you said, that hint of fruit.
Yep.
To me, that's another one I would put in cans and go to that. So.
So we're accomplishing our mission once again.
No, super light, very, like I said, your beers are very friendly forward, it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we like to drink. We're beer lovers all the way, but like we like to have some experiences for sure. But then at the end of the day, you like to have some beers that you're able to like crack open every time. And you're like, yeah, I like this beer and I could take it easily, whatever's the temperature or I won't say the hour of the day, but you understand the idea.
Yeah. No, it's the same for me where I live. It's like, okay, I'll grab one at my local neighborhood. Well, I'm in Verdun, so Benedict's. Sure. I'll grab some in Benedict's, and then it's like, I just walk down the street and I could get the crazy wild IPAs at Massorum or Catavagin, and
Totally.
It's like that for me. If I were out here and it's a bit of a walk, but I would come. I would enjoy some of your guys' beers, and then your friends down the street Toltec.
Sure.
So
And that's pretty cool, because we were lucky to have of course another great brewery in Boucherville, and we have different mentalities in terms of brewing. Like I love their stuff.
Yeah.
I won't start saying I don't know if they like our stuff, but I mean the idea is to say like different mentalities, which is great for people that want to have a good brew. You can come here and have something really good. Go over there, have something different and really good also.
We do see in the brewing community, almost everybody we've spoken with is, oh crap, I'm out of crystal malts. Can you send over a bag? And then I'll send over a bag of this. And it's a very friendly community. Well, it is competition. It's still a friendly community in the end, where you want each other to succeed. Because if one of you fails, who knows if the next guy's going to fail or not, right? So you want each other to succeed, but at the same time, you do need customers coming into both.
Well, I think it was part of the appeal initially, where we're new in the industry, but like we do know the industry quite well. And
brewing like 20 years.
And we know some people in the industry also. So you know, it's something that we always found really appealing to have that. Of course, there's competition. Like like you said, we want people to come inside here, but there's place for a lot of people, and you can help each other out to make sure that all the breweries, or at least a lot of the breweries, have some success. That's the best if you could achieve that. So for sure.
I mean, speaking of that friendliness, there's a lot less on your board, but when I first saw on your Instagram, you guys have guest taps as well.
Yeah.
And what made you decide it's not just going to be us, we're also going to support friends in the area, friends in the industry?
I would say the first and most important thing is for the clients. Like we believe we had 4 beers, and we wanted to come out with those four beers because we trusted them, we liked them, they were ready. Of course, a new brewery, and I'm pretty sure if you talk to a lot of the breweries, it's the same thing when they start. It's something to, you know.
It's 4 or 6 usually at the launch. So.
And it's quite something to scale up to make sure that your beers are ready. And we were making renovations literally while we were brewing at the same time. So, you know, it was quite something. And for the clients, we wanted to make sure that there were some options. And also, you know, yes, of course, it's fun to show. Like, we have some people that try some of the guest beers. They're like, hey, this is really good. I'm super happy to talk about that brewery and like say, yeah, I think it's a really, really good beer also. It's a question of being comfortable and confident in what you do. And we are. Of course, as we continue adding more and more beers, there's going to be like less and less invited beers. Not to say that we're never going to have any. Like, there's that part that's fun also to collaborate. But of course, our trip is to brew the beers and put that on the board, you know.
I mean, it looks like there's room for number 16 at some point. So
yes, indeed.
And then kombucha, just the popularity of that, you guys had to, I'm assuming, have one on tap.
Yeah, well, the objective is that we have some non-alcoholic products also. Of course, our objective would be to have some of our own NA beers eventually.
I was actually going to ask that. So.
But as we said already, one thing at a time. You know, we're going to get there for sure. We started very slowly working on a recipe. But you know, we're going to take the time to make something that we believe that is really good, well made. It's another process completely, any beers. So yeah, but you know, kombucha, it's a micro producer from Montreal, and we're open to different, you know, opportunities on that side also.
Oh, it's nice to, like I said, it's nice to see you guys working together when it comes down to it. It's the same thing. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Love it. Since you've opened, like I said, not even a month on the day we're doing this interview, what are some tweaks you feel like you've had to do to either get additional customers in, or even just refining your brewing process, or to the kitchen too? Like, what are some tweaks you guys feel like you've had to do?
Maybe on the brewery side, you could talk about it.
Yeah, we had to tweak some things on the brew house to increase the efficiency of the process. But the learning curve to learn the new equipment was pretty good. So we learned it pretty fast. The most challenging side is on the service for the service here, and the kitchen side. Because we control really well the production of the beer, but we're less equipped for the restaurant side.
Yeah, and Oliver already had a certain formation in terms of or training in terms of industrial brewing, and it is one of his like biggest like strengths of understanding this type of. So it wasn't as maybe hard as it could have been for, like, if I would have been the only brewer here, it would have been a completely different story. You know, so that was pretty good, thanks to you. And for the you know, clients, I mean, it was full. So like, we don't have that experience. We started gathering people that could help us out. Like, it's a teamwork, you know. Like, we're not gonna become from day one like the best people for a service. So we're very, very, very happy to have a good team in terms of the service and the kitchen, and we continue working with them to make sure that, you know, people that come in here have like the best experience ever.
I mean, we're starting to hear it too. It's just hiring is a pain in the butt right now.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it personally it wasn't as intense as I thought it would be. But you know, it's, you know, to get the good team in place is something. I mean, you need to have people that are motivated, that believe in what you're doing, and that feel that they're part of something bigger than just like, oh, this is my job, and in a month and a half I could just leave. You know, that is something that's harder to do.
I think we also had a little bit of luck to find enough people to open the brewery. So find enough people in the kitchen, in the service area. So, but I think there's a sex appeal to work in a brewery instead of a restaurant.
Yeah.
So,
and I think, you know, we've been pretty active on social media also.
Yeah.
I do think it did help. The more that you're seen, the more there's some people that are going to be interested in trying. So it did work well for us, and we're in a position right now where things are going pretty well.
Yeah.
To be honest, we're able to concentrate on our own jobs, which is more like marketing and helping in the brewery, him working in the brewery, and, you know, financial stuff. So we're happy. Let's hope it continues that way.
No, I did see like early on before the launch, before you officially gave a launch date, it's like we're recruiting.
We're
Recruiting.
Yeah.
We're recruiting. So it's like every 5th or 6th post on your Instagram was we're hiring.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
But like I said, you guys are a month old, 6 years planning. I'm guessing maybe 2 years of renovating and doing all the stuff in here, or maybe a year. So
actually 6 months.
6 months. That's not too bad at all.
It was there was nothing.
Yeah.
Completely empty.
Completely empty. No walls, no plumbing, and so once again he said, "Well, I think we could do it in 6 months." I'm like, "I'm going to trust you," and it worked out.
Especially, I mean, because I know with Quebec, it's the plumbing is like your drains have to be a certain width. It has to accept, and even like reusing the water going to the city. It's just looking at Quebec laws of creating a brewery. I'm just like, I don't have that. I'll stick to drinking it and buying it. I'm not making it anytime soon.
I'm pretty sure maybe 4 months in, he was thinking the same thing. No, it was something. But, you know, it's going to be, in 10 years, we're going to think about it. We're going to probably have great memories of it for sure. Because it was a fun period. It was just very intense.
And you said, you know, your hours are very limited right now, but I'm sure they're going to be opening in the future more hours. Sure. And, you know, right now I think you only do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
We do Wednesday also.
Wednesdays as well, okay.
But our objective is to be able to open. Of course, there's a lot of things that go into this.
Yeah.
So it's an objective. It doesn't mean we're going to achieve it necessarily in the dates that we want. But by the end of August, the objective would be to be able to open at noon Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yeah. We're going to see if we could get there. But that's the first opening we're going to do to the schedule. Yeah. It's going to be noon on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and who knows what's going to happen after. Like, we're open to seeing the demand, and if the demand is there, we're going to work to make sure that, you know, people are satisfied, for sure.
I mean, I could see it too, especially with the lunch crowd, and you guys do have, I like to say it's more modern pub food menu.
Yeah.
What made you decide on one, having a kitchen on top of having the brewery itself and not just the brewery?
Yeah.
And then the menu that you guys came up with, like who designed that, and you clearly have somebody working in the kitchen, a chef.
Yeah.
Like, how did that all work together?
So, I mean, I could talk about this guy. I talk a lot. So
So we knew that in Boucherville, people would prefer to go somewhere that there is this food instead of just beer. So this is a way to get people here and be there the whole evening.
Okay.
So the food was really important, and the quality of the food was also really important to match the quality of the beer that we aim to do. There's also an important reason that is the urbanism rules.
Okay.
In this
so it's your
this area.
It's your license that you need. Okay.
Okay. So we needed a restaurant to open here.
All right.
But to be honest, and as Olivier was saying, it was always clear for us that, like, in this space here, we needed to have the kitchen, like as like clients of places on the South Shore, we understand how it works. You know, you take your car. For the majority of people, you're not necessarily going to go into 2 different places.
Yeah.
And for the type of menu, we had a pretty good idea of where we wanted to go. We had someone help us out also to like think about the main line of where we wanted to go. Yeah. And we were extremely lucky to have somebody that has a lot of experience in the kitchen that wanted to join us for the adventure. That of course, it's totally normal when you have a chef. He's going to put his way of doing things. Yes. And it worked super well for us. We consider ourselves really lucky to have someone that came in and we're able to offer something that we believe that people really like. So it could have taken more time before we got there, but I think that from day one we had something that was really interesting for the clients. So.
And then adding a kids menu on top of that was definitely
a must.
A must, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have a lot of families coming in, or is it more of a mix of like, let's say, guys in our 30s, 40s coming in for pints, and you know, the beer geeks, or is it like kind of a mix of everything?
It's a good mix of everything.
Okay.
So we have families, we have older people. So it's a really a big mix of people. So from 25 to 75.
70, 75.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like parents usually typically go there.
Beer garden,
because people are starting to hear about that part of the brewery. But you know, it's what we wanted. There's a lot of people that come here and they want to try the beers. The beer flights are super popular.
Yeah.
And we have some people that come in and they want white wine and they want to eat. You know, they're like, hey, I heard the food is really good. So like, all right, that's great. It's part of the whole experience, like, you know.
And then I noticed on your wine list on the internet, it's Quebec produced wines.
No, not necessarily.
No? Okay.
We're thinking about doing that,
okay.
actually, but it's not on the menu at the moment.
Okay.
There's a couple of wineries that we're looking into.
Okay.
But you know, there's a lot of things that can happen in a month. And there's a couple of things that we said, you know, we're going to wait a little bit because there was a lot to take care of in the month. But it is an objective to have. Something really interesting in terms of wines. We are a brewery. It's always going to be our main thing. But we understand that some people, you know, maybe someone even that does like beer wants to sometimes take something different, fun, that's in wine category. So we're working on that for sure.
I'm sure there's some wacky SAQ rule where you have to go through them or something.
Well, you know, the SAQ is the SAQ for sure. So, but it's okay. It's working well for now. And I think, you know, we have we're not the ones that decided, not that we didn't work on it, but we got some people that were really good in wine to say, I think this would be a great wine for your red wine, for your white wine.
Yeah.
But everything's in movement. Once again, what's going to be the situation in a year? The objective is that it's an even better experience than it is right now. The good news is that people really appreciate what they're having right now. We can just build up from there, you know. But it's going to continue moving for sure.
And when it comes to the food that people are ordering, do you have recommendations of what food to pair with a beer or beer to pair with a food, or is it kind of just do what you want and then you see yourselves in the future doing a more of a food and beer pairing?
Every beer with everything we have on the menu, no.
Just get 7 beers, 7 meals, and just
exactly. No, we're gonna get there once again. We're just starting out. For now, you know, it's really more a question of people that have a specific interest, like, oh, I want to try the tartare, or I want to try the burger. And of course, we're working with the staff to tell them, well, you know, if somebody takes something with like fish, you could propose this type of beer. But for now, people are really just want to explore. The beer flights are very popular because people come in here like, I want to try pretty much everything you have. Eventually, I guess things are gonna like gets more steady, and then we're gonna think about all that. But for now, like, people explore. It's great like that, you know.
I mean, you guys are still in your infancy, right?
So, exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of flights, I got another beer here to try.
Yeah. So you want to talk about the OG?
So the OG is our main recipe for a New England IPA. It's a recipe that we worked on it for many years, especially during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's a really hop forward, but also it's really balanced. So it's not too sugary. There is not too much hop in it. So this is what we aim for. So a lot of citrus fruits and a hint of pineapple.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it smells like pineapple, a little bit of grapefruit.
Yeah.
Awesome. Matt, you're toast. Mentioning your flights, so unique, the handle.
Yeah.
And I saw online you worked with a local Quebecois artist.
Yeah.
Who came up with the flight design and what made you pick this specific one?
Yeah, so we're not kidding when we say we'd like to collaborate, and this is somebody from Longueuil, just beside Boucherville. He came to meet us, and his name is Roger, and he showed us, like standard work that he would do, and he said, you know what, like let's have fun. We started talking about ideas of what we could incorporate to our beer flights. But honestly, there's a lot of it that's him. Like, we have discussions with people. Same thing for our designs. We come up with the main idea. We have clear visions to where we want to go. But after that, you give some wiggle room to the artists also. So it's always a collaboration. Like we talk with them. We have a lot of discussions. It's not just like you work for us and do something. And it turns out super well. Of course, we are extremely happy with the results, and we're super happy to continue working with them, on different things. So you're not the first one to say it, that they're unique, they're fun. I'm extremely happy with the result, and I think it's really a great collaboration. You could have collaborations between breweries, but you have collaborations between different artists. And that's what we're going for. It's just the beginning. It's something that we're going to want to work on, to have collaborations, and not just for our personal gain, but also to plug different artists. And I think it's a beautiful world to see different artisans in Quebec and everywhere. And why not? Talk about what makes you tick. What's your passion and what's ours? So this is the first one in that. Hopefully big line of collaborations are going to come, and we couldn't be happier.
Awesome. And then the logo itself for Gaspard, where does that come from? Is there a meaning behind it?
Actually, it represents a fermenter.
Okay.
With the conical
Okay.
side here. So actually, when did we?
Several years ago.
Yeah.
The idea was the first name that we wanted to come out with had an H in it. And the two ideas was to have the fermenter and have something that would resemble the H. Of course, we changed it as we didn't keep that name, but we really liked the idea of the design of the fermenter. And it is the main thing that happens in a brewery. Like, you could prepare your beer, but I mean, it's the yeast, it's the fermenter where things can go right or wrong. So it's the main part of it. And once again, it's simple. It fits with Gaspard. It fits with who we are as brewers. And of course, we wanted something that was a little bit unique, so that people could see the logo and say, "Yeah, I know that's Gaspard." So, yeah.
I mean, speaking of yeast stuff changes, it's like watching some YouTube and TikTok stuff. It's like, here's my fermenter exploding. You just see beer shooting at the ceiling, and you're like, oh, that's so sad. Like, the stuff some of you guys go through, and girls, because a lot of girls brew too. It's like, I don't get. Like I said, there'd be one bad thing happen, and I'm like, screw it, I'm done, I'm out. Somebody else buy the property. I don't care. So. You guys clearly have dedication for what you're doing. I mean, you've been hanging out 20 years. You've been working on a brewery for 6. It's there. So.
Yeah, and I think that's once again, it's all a question of teamwork. Like, he's good he likes solving problems. Like, I think he likes solving problems. So once again, you need to have both. Like, I think I do a decent job in marketing and social media. Thank you. But I mean. He would see a problem, and I'm confident. I'm we're gonna get it. It's gonna be done. So if you're comfortable with the team, and of course I talk about us, but we do have some people in our team already that are indispensable for us, where we're like, they are extremely important for the workflow in the brewery, but you need to be confident. And I think we worked very well. We challenged each other a lot before starting.
Yeah.
And once that's done, like, bring on the problems. Like, we're going to find solutions, you know.
So the OG cans came out on launch day when you guys opened.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's more cans coming out of all the other beers in the future.
Yeah, actually next week. So
Exactly. On Monday, we're going to have 2 or 3 beers, including the OG. This is the second batch. That's the first one.
Okay.
This is extremely fresh.
Yeah.
It came out yesterday.
yeah,
So yeah, well, the objective is always to have some cans here, small quantities. People that like have interest for that come and get their beers. Maybe we're going to have, like, I think it's the PLL. We're thinking of having about 200 cans, so it's going to go out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And there's other beers like the OG that we're going to start putting in different places slowly. Same thing for a Kolsch that we're about to brew. We have a Bohemian Pilsner also that's upcoming. You know, we have some ideas of the main products that we're going to put in cans and we're going to distribute a little bit. We're not aiming to be in 1,000 different sell points, you know. But we do want to have that fun also to share our products a little bit larger than just the brewery.
You want to go to places like Peluso,
Sure.
Bière Log, Malte Hops, Bière à Boire, also a social place. So
and we have 2 here in Boucherville also. So, but you know, that's the thing. We're going to do it with our timeline because we want to do it well. We want to make sure we have good partners and that people that have heard about us want to try our products. So a lot of the focus is here. That's going to stay. It's always going to stay. The focus is here. It's the freshest. It's like we have the possibility to do 200 cans, 1,000 cans, you know, whatever we want. But after that, of course, we're already talking about with some partners to have like a good collaboration once again. And that's upcoming, I'd say, in the next weeks probably.
Yeah. And then you guys have your own canning line, or somebody comes in and does it for you?
So we are subcontracting
for
the
now.
canning, for now.
From the sound of it, it's for now. For you guys. I mean,
now.
like you said, a month. You've been open a
Yeah.
month. So, speaking of that, you were mentioning future beers. Do you guys see yourselves doing maybe like a little Oktoberfest with the beer garden and having a Marzen perhaps and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Like it's the type of thing that we really enjoy, to have themes. And like the simplest way I could put it is that we're starting to really see the possibilities of saying, hey, what do we want to brew?
Yeah, awesome.
It's been a month. Things are starting to get more steady. So for sure, Oktoberfest is one that we're looking at. But there's going to be others, special events.
Yeah, speaking of, what are some of those planned special events?
I wouldn't say we have some right now.
Okay.
But for sure, when it's going to be our first anniversary, there's going to be special things that are going to come out. I don't think we're going to be the biggest in terms of like we're doing special releases, but we're going to do releases when we're going to have some different things to talk about. So we're going to have merch coming out eventually. When we're going to have our first line of merch that's going to come out, probably we're going to brew a couple of small batches of beers. No, maybe it's going to be an IPA, maybe it's going to be a Pils, but I mean, it doesn't need to be a super, super special barrel-aged beer necessarily. But I think that for beer enthusiasts, just to have the fact that there's like, okay, there's 200 cans of this product, it becomes interesting to go and try it. And after that, of course, we're going to eventually go in barrel-aged beers, things like that. But in terms of specific events for now, there's nothing like worth mentioning yet.
Yeah, but there's stuff in your brain flipping around, like, can we do this? Would this make sense in this area?
Exactly.
You know, a lot of places are doing trivia nights now pretty regularly.
Yeah, that's upcoming actually here.
It's so popular, it's crazy.
Yeah. So trivia nights, and we're thinking of maybe upcoming comedians also.
Okay. Maybe a little stage, have small little local bands.
Yeah. We're starting to think about that, but like at least in terms of trivia nights and maybe comedians, that's something that we're already looking into. And of course, in terms of special events, that's something like, as I said, it's been a month.
Yeah.
But there are going to be some things for sure. and we are going to communicate them quite well, I think, on our social medias.
Yeah, it is because of social media I discovered you guys. It's because of Instagram. Somebody just, following Brasserie Gaspard. I'm like, who are these guys? Click follow. I'm like, oh, they're not open yet. Oh, that's quite the journey they're going through. And then it's like, oh, we're opening a week before Saint Jean. They were closed Saint Jean. I'm like, that's weird. You'd want to be open Saint Jean and have a bunch of people in here, but it's an interesting holiday.
It was quite something, to be honest.
But, and then, in Quebec it's moving day, and the rest of Canada it's Canada Day.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of people like finish their U-Hauls and moving out here, and I need a beer, dude. I don't care what.
Yeah, well, the first weeks were quite something.
Yeah.
Honestly, it hasn't really slowed down that much, which is great.
Yeah.
But it was in French, lancé dans la gueule du loup. Like, it was like very intense from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
No ramp up, you know. We opened.
So you were already running it at 100%.
Yeah. First day, there was people waiting outside. We're like, okay. Yeah. This is going to be how it's going to be. And the first day was completely full. The next day,
we had to turn on people because it was full. So
exactly. And second day was pretty intense also. Then we were saying, like, okay, it was the first weekend. It's going to be calmer after that. Not really.
Yeah.
Like, of course, we do have some slower nights. That's totally normal. But in general, I say we're extremely, extremely happy with the turnaround.
All right, I got one last beer here to try.
Yeah.
So it's the Irish Dry Stout. Okay. So you don't have any more mousse.
Foam.
Foam, yeah.
But the idea is that it's pushed with nitrogen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 4.5%. It's supposed to be. This is going to be a great and big surprise.
Yeah.
But we want it to be an easy drinking Irish Dry Stout. So once again, the idea is you take one and you're like happy to take another one because it's subtle. You're going to have torrefied grains a little bit of dark chocolate, but super subtle.
Awesome.
So in a well-rounded and creamy body also.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
If you had the foam though, it's been another thing. So I'm going to fake toast.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is to steal the Guinness drinkers, I believe.
There you go. you saw through our game. No, but
wow, that's super light.
So we wanted to do a stout that is easy to drink around the pool when it's really hot or doing barbecue.
Yeah, this is super light, like nice and crushable stout. And I mean, the stouts I usually go for, like the triple barrel aged 14-something%, where I'll just have one, and then I'm like, okay, time for a nap. Yeah. So this is something I can actually enjoy, and like you said, be at the barbecue or mowing my lawn. Yeah. Because stouts don't just have to be for the winter or just have to be for St. Patrick.
There you go. So. And we had this objective from the start to say we want it to be always on tap.
Yeah.
Like that's our part of the Irish pub, to have like our nitrogen stout always there. I love it. I've always loved like easy drinking IPAs, stouts like that.
Yeah.
And so we're super happy to have it. Are we going to make some 9% stouts? Yeah. Eventually, but it's not our core. But we're going to make a little bit of everything. But that's something that's going to stay on the lines pretty much always.
You've already mentioned a lot of it, but what does the true future hold for Gaspard?
That's a big one.
Yeah. But I mean,
you're a month old. So.
I could talk about it. It's just I know that I talk a lot.
But you've already mentioned, you plan to barrel age, you plan to do this, you plan to do that. But is there like, when you hit that 1 year, and you said you want to be here 10 years, but where's that 1 year vision going?
Honestly, we want to have fun doing this, and we want to have growth by having fun also.
Okay.
So of course the objective, I think a lot of the breweries, it's the case. We want to eventually be known across Quebec. Like, okay, this is a really good brewery, and we hope that people are going to taste our products and say, yeah, I really respect this brewery because it's really some good beers. Yeah. I think we have our own twist. We're not going for necessarily the bigger, bold products. And hopefully people are going to appreciate the fact that, in well-balanced beers. In terms of growth, well, we want this place to, run and be full and have a lot of fun with people that come in. And slowly, we're going to be a little bit more everywhere. As I said, we're not aiming to eventually be like everywhere in Quebec.
Yeah.
But we do want to have like these specific places. So short term, I say that's the plan. After that, honestly, we're ambitious people, but I think we're strategic people also. We're going to think about it. We're going to continue to see what's the best move for us. And from there on, who knows?
Guys, thank you very much for today. For those who are looking to find Gaspard in person and online, where can they find you?
Yeah, so
you can find us in Boucherville at 280 Boulevard Fort Saint-Louis.
Yeah, and we're on social media on Facebook Gaspard Brasserie Artisanale, and Instagram it's Brasserie Gaspard. We have our website also, www, of course, brasseriegaspard.com. You could join our newsletter. There's going to be some special things on the newsletter also. We're pretty much out there, and come and join us.
Awesome. So all that's going to be in the show notes. Definitely come check these guys out. If you enjoyed this episode, please click subscribe, the notification bell for all future episodes, and like button. As for us, allbeerinside.com is the website, at allbeerinside on all social media. And as I say at the end of all episodes, drink craft, not crap.